All right, let's get into this. Yes, I'm calling this the Omnipotent Map Runner. I don't mean to add a whole bunch of clickbait into this, and I want to say this is not like this GG insane, holy crap, overpowered build. However, it is a build that I have not had an issue running any map so far on a level 90 character with the right gear set. And I'll go through it with you in a moment, but I do want to just kind of mention again, I'm not trying to say this is overpowered. I'm not trying to say this is GG or anything like that. It is just, it's a triple element, and by that I mean physical, fire, and lightning build, which means you really can do pretty much anything, and I'll kind of show you, I'll show you that through a couple maps I have here. And the reason I picked these particularly is because I think these tend to be the most difficult maps for your kind of fire / physical builds. I included a Cal map just because I keep mentioning in my other videos that like I just didn't do very well in Cal map, so I didn't want to include it. But based on this build, based on how I've adjusted it, I actually do pretty darn well doing the Cal maps. So what changed? What changed from this morning to this afternoon? I have thought about it some more. I've gotten some more input from guys like Toby, guys like Toner, who have helped me kind of not perfect this, I hate to say that kind of word, but improve this build. But let's go ahead and get into it. I also wanted to clarify something that I made the mistake of mentioning in my last build. I did say that these are both 10% IAS slammed, increased attack speed slammed. So it's actually a 20% with ED. That's one of the highest tier corruptions, is it rolls a 20% with enhanced damage. So yes, this is the 20% slam. However, you will notice that I guess I can't show you here because I don't have another Balrog Spear. By the way, I'm doing this off of Pluggy. This is just a normal single player through the actual pd2 client, the live client. I wanted to do that just to really show you this is fully how it looks live. Based on how I built it. So yeah, this is actually not necessary. This Balrog Spear with the increased attack speed is what I mean. It's this that needs the increased attack speed. So when I had mentioned that running, a level 15 fanaticism, you need 30% increased attack speed from your gear versus the level 10 fanaticism from Beast running an Act 5 Mercenary, you need 40. So depending on which Mercenary run with their fanaticism aura, you either need 30% with this or 40% with Beast. Now, where is that gotten from? You can either get it from here, or from my testing, like I said, from here. So this rolled 20% increased attack speed, meaning I only need 10% more. Now, again, this extra 20% increased attack speed did not seem to matter. I tried it with a different weapon, unslammed, Balrog Spear, didn't change the increased attack speed. It didn't change the breakpoint I was gaining. So just bear that in mind. It really didn't affect it. You more so need the increased attack speed from your lacerator, because I think this is where it's actually improving your frames to a point where it is easier to achieve. So again, all that being said, all that out of the way, apologize for that. We'll go over the build, and you'll see that I actually don't have any increased attack speed charms. This is all items you can now get through the game. There's no weird pluggy items. I did make sure to slam my gear how I needed it to be slammed. So this is all totally potentially could be how it could look like live. So with that being said, we'll go through the gear real quick. So yeah, the Balrog Spear you've already seen has increased attack speed, has enhanced damage. The IAS is not necessary here, but you want to get good enhanced damage, maybe get some fire pierce or some lightning pierce based on how I actually built the build here, which I'll go over. 3-socketed Kiras with the facets. I did still do fire facets. Enhanced damage, rising sun. There you go. The increased attack speed slam, lacerator with ED is always going to be helpful. But yeah, you really want to get your increased attack speed slam through this, which will help with the rest of your build. Still Corpseborn 3-socketed with fire facets, still Hellmouth with Deadly Strike. Deadly Strike is going to help you specifically with a thrower because you are throwing so many spears out that Deadly Strike is just going to be all the more powerful. Wisp Projector just for the enhanced damage. I think it's like 65% enhanced damage with AR at level 5 Wolverine. Nosferatu with the increased attack speed based on just what I needed from my build. And then just a random mana leech. You can get like a dual leech. This is just something I found in that was in the pluggy chest, so I just threw it on. Gore Riders you're going to use for the Deadly Strike. So with all this, you do amount to 35 Deadly Strike, which is pretty decent. There's other options. You can run War Travs. You can even run Inferno Stride if you want to get that extra fire damage. We still have our grandfathers for shouts, but here's the big difference from what I had this morning to what I have now. And here's where I want to make sure I'm clarifying. What I had this morning was fire damage skill large charms, right? Because you're going to find those in game, the 4%ers, the 3% fire damage skill large charms. Now, you need to know that adds fire skill damage. So that's your skills, right? So that was really only benefiting my procs, my Molten Boulder, my Meteor there. That wasn't benefiting my fire damage, right? So that's not benefiting that. Just the same, your facets are fire skill damage. You can see that right there. 15% of fire skill damage. So you're actually not gaining that much benefit from those facets other than your procs, other than this, right? The procs you're getting from your gear. That doesn't mean it's pointless. It's still helping you out somewhat, but the real benefit is from the enemy fire resistance pierce. So that is going to help you with your fire damage. And the facets themselves just add fire damage. So that's nice. Last thing I wanted to say along that line was, to compare it to Flame Bellow. Flame Bellow, the reason it does so well and it gains benefit from large charms is that Flame Bellow gets the Holy Fire Aura. So the Holy Fire Aura is what's adding fire damage, and that is a skill. So those fire skills, you're getting fire damage from that skill, that aura that you're getting from your weapons, that level 56 aura that you're getting. So that's why those large charms are so necessary there and not so much here, because you're really not gaining any benefit from fire damage skills, again, other than a couple procs that you have, which, hey, sure, it's helpful and it's nice. But again, so the facets are really going to help you with the fire damage, the flat fire damage, and the fire pierce. That's where it's going to really shine. So you do still want to stack some good fire pierce and fire damage with this build. Okay, so all that being said, again, going back to the charms, here's what I did. So I tried out 2 different sets. I tried out using max grand charms, like 10 max grand charms, which is helpful, but it doesn't add all that elemental damage, which is where you're going to get the main benefit from this build, is you're going to be able to do that triple element damage, right? The physical fire and the lightning. Lightning I haven't really talked about. Now you're going to see the Balrog Spear, the Demon's Arch, has lightning damage and it has lightning pierce. That's actually going to be really helpful. Now you see here in my elemental pierce, this is mostly from facets, but this here is from the Balrog Spear and from Kyros. So that's actually going to help you out a little bit. So you don't want to necessarily ignore that, because you are going to run into those mobs that are, hey, maybe fire and physical immune. Well, we're certainly not killing them with all that much speed, but we still do some extra damage. So we're still going to do some lightning damage with lightning pierce, as well as the amount of damage we're going to be able to do from battle cry, from amplified damage. So we're still going to be doing some damage to these, both physical and fire immunes. So again, it just diversifies what you can really do with this build. And I'm sorry to talk so much about it, but I am pretty excited about it, and it has been really fun just really testing all these maps out and being like, wow, I really can do everything. And it's really cool to see what you can get out of this build. So nothing changed with the Mercenary. I'm still doing the same stuff with Mercenary. Faith Bow, Flickering Flame for a little extra fire damage. Templar's Might for a little extra physical damage. Just some boots so she can keep up with me. Some PDR to help her out. And again, Fire Enchant. It's not that great, but it helps with some more fire damage and some AR. Skills are the same. No enough strength for gear, dumping into dexterity. Really no vitality is needed. You're still running like 1500 life. You're not going to get that just from like normal stuff you'll find in the game. Like a lot of these are probably, well, actually, I guess there's no real lifers here. Maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, there's 1. But yeah, you really don't need to dump into Vitality because you're so protected by your army. You're so protected by your speed and your life leech that you really don't have any issues. So you can really dump into damage. Skills again. So again, this is only a level 90 character. I wanted to just make it more realistic. I dumped mostly into I maxed out double throw. I maxed out battle command. I made sure to put a point in battle cry just to give myself that extra damage amp if I need to break an immunity. I maxed out speed because I just want to zoom on this build because it's really fun. I maxed out throwing mastery. And lastly, I dumped into Iron Skin just to give myself a little more defensiveness with the 1-point wonders as usual. So, okay, let's get into it. Why don't we get after it? Let's start with cows. We'll do that first. And again, like usual, I'm not gonna finish these maps. I'm just gonna show it to you. So here we go. We don't need to stack anything. We just need to kill some cows. No frenzies, nothing like that. We're already going super fast. And so you can see I have fire damage, I have lightning damage. Cows are notoriously high physical resistance, but not too high elemental resistance. So elemental builds are really gonna shine here. And as you can see, I'm not really having an issue. So he's immune to fire, so there you go. You can see how I do that. So you're still able to kill those immune to fires with your physical, with your lightning damage. It's really no issue. And the nice thing is you do have that Molten Boulder, which kind of serves as a little bit of it is a knockback. You'll see me proc this boulder and you'll see these cows go for a little ride. You know, they get knocked back pretty well. And again, they're not looking at me. They're looking at my reanimates. They're paying attention to them. They're going to attack them. And on the Whirlwind Barbarian, that was not beneficial because I needed to go walk over to them. But now I'm a ranged class and I can just throw some spears at them and they die, right? So there you go. This is where this build is able to shine and benefit from that extra army. And, you know, I think when we're thinking about builds, we're thinking about multiple things. Is it affordable? Is it versatile? Is it survivable? You know, am I going to get killed every 20 seconds because I'm getting just one shot? Affordability, maybe not quite so much with the fire facets, but you're only using 6 here compared to the 10 that you needed from, no, even more than 10, 14 that you needed from the Bellow Barbarian. So you only need 6 here. You do still need to get a 3-socketed Kira, so that might cost you a little bit. But hey, every build needs something pricey in it. Corpse Mourn probably won't cost you much. I think I see them now for like 1.5 to 2 for 3 sockets. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, Wisp Projector is going to cost you something, but that's not necessary to the build. So decently affordable. Survivability, I mean, I've been playing this for a decent while now, and only once in a blue moon I'm playing so sloppily, just auto-botting into mobs, and I almost never die. It's just once in a while I'm like being stupid, like being way up here and taking a bunch of archers to the face. But even when I have all these mobs around me and I get up in the front, they're not always looking at me, they're looking at my reanimates. So super safe build that you can pretty much cruise control on because you have such an army that's, again, keeping up with you because you have the vigor build from your archer, your Act 1 mercenary, rather. All right, let's change it up. Let's get somewhere else. We will go into a Pandemonium, right? So this is like the physical classes no-fly zone, right? You never go into here as a physical class. It's just not conducive. There's succubus. They hurt so much. The Stygian Furies, they hurt so much. It's just not worth it. So here we have some Bloodbringers. Here we have some Stygian Furies, and we have no issues with them, right? We're just going to throw some spears into these guys. We don't even have our army yet, but we're still not having too hard of a time. I didn't get my Wisp out either, so there's some more damage I got. Forgot to summon the Wisp. All right, so still, again, you're doing just fine. You're throwing some spears, you're moving along, killing things. I don't even need to look at them. I just know they're going to die. So I really think this is where that triple element, and I apologize, I keep saying triple element. I'm counting physical as an element just for ease of use here. But this triple element build that you're doing just fine on, there's not a whole lot of mobs you come up against that you have an issue with. Not that I've seen yet. And you could even say this is a potential tier 4 mapper. I have tried to do a tier 4 map. It gets pretty spicy. There's misshapen. Those guys that throw the lightning arms. These guys here in the T4 maps are fire and physical immune, and boy are they fire and physical immune. They are hard to break. The lightning damage still helps. Takes a little while longer, but again, it's just a way tougher map to do. But it doesn't mean that you can definitely use it in a group. If you have the patience, you can probably do it solo, but it's going to take you a while, and it's gonna be pretty tricky. But hey, you're not really supposed to solo T4 maps. I know there's some builds around that can kind of teleport through and kill the bosses, but it's something you can definitely consider doing with a group. But again, if you're watching me play, listening to me with your ears, but looking with your eyes, you're seeing that I'm not having an issue really with anything. Everything's dying. Really no problem. Going through it easily. You're so fast that you can quickly move out of the way, throw a couple spears, move out of the way. And remember, I haven't even used my battle cry, right? That is just going to give you that much more damage. So with those immunes that you need to break, and here, what's this guy? So big physical fire immune. There you go. And I battle cry. Lightning's helping. I break the physical immune, and he's dead. Okay. You're not always going to run into that. I know that was a little slower than those elitists may want, but I mean, for a physical fire immune, and those are your big 2 damage dealing abilities, you're still able to kill him. It's not a mob that you need to just walk away from, which is cool. All right, I think I've done Pandemonium enough. We can move on. You guys see it does well. Next up, what do we got? River of Blood. So this is a good one to see too. And remember, I didn't select these maps based on their roles, right? You may have seen the last 2. They had enhanced maximum life. They had fire absorb. I just kind of picked these out of the lineup of what pluggy had available, which a lot of these were increased max life, reduced physical damage, fire absorb. So here's a big one: 37% increased max life, 544, 54 reduced damage. So definitely a map that we would expect to have trouble on and take a while to kill things. But I'm just going to show you that I'm really not having an issue. Right, we'll go through it, we'll build up our army, we'll get these guys going, be in our meat shields, and we will just sit down range and kill some enemies. Right, remember, 37% increased max life, 554 reduced physical damage. These guys are tanky, these guys are beefy, and we are not having an issue with them. Now, it's going to take you, I always think about downsides. I always think about like realistic aspects of a build when I'm doing this. What are the realistic things that are gonna kind of hold you up? You're not going to get a bunch of 150, 275 lightning damage charms, the 19 to 29, the 27 to 44. They're going to take a little while to build up. As long as people are putting them on the market, you're going to just have to pay attention. You're going to have to look at what you're actually identifying. Just because it's not 3 max with AR, just because it's not 5 all res or 7 MF, you got to pay attention to what you're throwing on the ground. You may be throwing on the ground some big fire damage charm that you could have used. So fire damage, lightning damage. The nice thing about using both elements is that it kind of helps mix up what you can get, so you're not just looking for fire. You're able to find some lightning, you're able to find some fire, and you're just going to improve as you go. And if you happen to get a max charm, and that's the only spot you have, or you have plenty of spots available, go ahead and use the max charm. It's still going to help you out. there's just more options for you to use. So that, I think, is a nice thing. It kind of increases the things you can potentially find and use to your advantage with good effectiveness. All right, I think we'll keep cruising through here, but for the most part, you've seen what it does, especially to these like fire immunes. These Doom Knights are the fire immunes. You see it. I have no issue with them. I'm able to do this pretty comfortably. Look at that, a Mav bow. Why don't we slam it? 2 sockets. Look at that. Yeah, I'm able to do all this pretty comfortably, no issues. I don't know why. Sometimes my spear disappears. I'd be curious if that's just a visual bug or what's going on there. Guys like Toner would be able to tell me the true answer there. But yep, you see I do it pretty darn well, and I'm having no real issues. Again, with all my builds, is this going to be the fastest build in the world for River of Blood? Is it going to be the fastest build in the world for CalMap, for Thrones, for Ancestral Trial? No. But it is a build that can do any map at a decent speed, at a decent pace, and you can feel strong doing it, and you can do it safely. And to me, that's success. To me, that is cool, because I cannot just do a single map over and over and over. I want to just be able to look at all my collection of maps and say, you know what, point and choose, I want to run this one. Spin the wheel, I want to run this one. And I can do that with this build, which I think is really cool. All right, last one. Let's get into an Ancestral Trial, which I think is like the baby of Pandemonium. I think that is another one that physical builds do not do. They just stay away from them. There's so much, like, there's skeletons, there's a lot of physical immunes, there's specters. You just don't mess with it because you don't get the lifesteal, you don't get the mana steal. So let's go ahead and mess with it. Here we go. We have a physical fire lightning class, predominantly physical fire, and this has physical fire immune. So let's get after it. Let's see what it does. Get our buffs up, and let's start cruising. Okay, so we got those fire immunes, we got those physical immunes. The physical immunes are the specters. The fire immunes are these Balrogs. So I want you to keep an eye on those and see how we do as we move through it. So we got our army built up. You can see our mana's dropping, so that's probably where you'll end up using most of your rejuvenations or whatever potions you have available, is just getting your mana back up so you can keep throwing. Because again, I'm sitting nice and tight in my reanimates, and I'm not really having any issues. And if mobs are going after anything, it's going after my reanimates. So really your only issue that you need to use potions for is just to keep your mana up. And guys, it just looks cool. It sounds cool. It feels good. We have we have the max frame, increased attack speed frame. We're shooting fast. We're running fast. Our move speed is insane. I don't even know where move speed is. Maybe you can see. Run walk 66. We're cruising around the map. We're throwing spears. We're doing lots of damage, and we're doing it consistently, and we're doing it safely. So really, it's been really fun building this and getting input from people, and it's just really cool to see what this build has become. So that's it, guys. I really, again, I didn't need to finish all these maps. I just wanted to show you what it can do, and I wanted to clarify some things from before that I may have misspoken or just said wrong, and just really wanted to show you where I have finally taken this build. So that's it. I hope you had a great time watching. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to put something in the comments. And again, if as I always say, if you like what I do, if you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe. It does help me out. Helps me get a following. Helps me keeps me motivated for sure to keep doing content. So I appreciate you guys watching and being here. All right, have a good day, everybody. Bye.